Apple stock is surging again, but what's driving the comeback? Jaw-dropping iPhone sales or a secret pivot on AI? The answer could shock you. Don't miss the part where analysts reveal Apple's China turnaround and what Tim Cook's next move could mean for every shareholder.
Yeah, just woke up this morning, Scott, to a bunch of bullish analyst notes. A great headline for Apple in the Financial Times saying this is the best iPhone cycle since COVID, and just so many other things following on the themes that we've been talking about since the iPhone launched back about a month ago. Actually, we were talking about it before because, look, we've learned over the years, Scott, it's been 18 years since the iPhone came out, the very first one, that when Apple changes the design, gives new hardware features, whether that's a bigger screen, changes the overall design, adds more cameras, adds 5G to it, you can literally chart it. You see the surge in growth every time Apple does that. They didn't do that last year. They tried to push the artificial intelligence product. That didn't work. That didn't drive sales. And this year, they went back to the basics. And they said, we're going to make a new design. They have the iPhone Air, that super thin design. The iPhone Pro models, the two over there, they got a better camera system, really good battery, and a new design. And then you got that base model iPhone that is a hot item out there in China, in part because of those Chinese subsidies, but also because it started adopting some of the new features from the iPhone Pro, including a better screen smoothness of the animations on the screen. So you put all of that together, and it's turning into a growth cycle for the iPhone, and something we haven't really seen since Huawei came back online and started being a real competitor for Apple in China, and also just all this economic uncertainty around tariffs, Scott.
I mean, Alex, you've bet at this, not you, but the investor or skeptics have bet against this company at times at their own peril. Is this another one of those moments?
That's right. I would say that, this is definitely Apple returning to its roots. Remember, 50% of the company's revenue comes from the iPhone. It's still an iPhone company. And the bet against, and I've definitely been a part of the criticism, the bet against the company has been that they couldn't get their act together on artificial intelligence. I think that's still in play. The difference here is that as these phone sales have surged, the threat of AI has gone from something that might have been immediate term to something that's now clearly intermediate term. None of Apple's competitors have come up with a defining product or a defining feature built on artificial intelligence. So what you see now is the company capitalizing on what it does best, which is making the iPhone, while having some breathing room on the AI conversation. Now, I still think this is a very serious long-term liability for Apple if it cannot get the AI house in order. We've seen many of its key executives move to places like Meta over the past few months. But if you're Tim Cook or if you're an Apple shareholder, you have to be happy because the iPhone for many quarters was stagnating. The only thing doing double-digit revenue growth within Apple was services. Now you have last quarter 13% growth. We now see that maybe the 17 is on track to do double-digit growth as it comes out. And that is what Apple needs to do. So I think bet against the company at your own peril definitely remains true, but they're not completely out of the woods yet in terms of the thing that we've been digging them for over time.
No, that's right, Steve. I mean, how do we reconcile the AI deficiency, if you want to put it that way?
They have one more shot to get it right. I mean, this spring was when they said we can't do it. We're not going to release this product. Siri is not going to get that big AI update we advertised and promised would be core to our iPhone 16 experience. Okay, now you bought yourself another year to get it right. They got the tariff picture behind them a little bit. They got the iPhone 17 showing success. But to Alex's point, there is still risk here. They're losing talent. And they've proven that they can't build it themselves. Now they're looking to partner with one of these established players. This has to really nail it when this new updated version of Siri comes out. We're thinking early next year. If it isn't on par with something like ChatGPT or one of the others we talk about a lot, we're going to have a much different conversation in 4 or 5 months' time, Scott.
And lastly, Alex, I mean, part of this story is about diplomacy, both domestically and internationally. Right? We're having this conversation days after Tim Cook returned from China. He's seemingly managed that about as well as you could. And he's done that in his own way as well at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
That's spot on. And to me, looking at the Counterpoint Research report that came out this morning and has really driven the stock forward. But to me, the most important line is that the base model in China has doubled in the first 10 days of selling between the 16 and the 17. I had to read that like 3 or 4 times to make sure I was reading the same thing because Apple has been in trouble in China. We've had the Chinese government reportedly tell government employees no iPhones in the office. We've had this happen in the middle of a pretty significant trade war between the US and China. And to me, the arrow was pointing down in China. It seemed like there were many liabilities and points where, you could see this continue to decrease. And the fact that Apple has been able to surge within China, to me, that's the headline. This is an important country for the company's ability to continue to grow its revenue. If it's getting its house in order in China, that's a major deal and really points to continued quarters of revenue growth ahead.